There is only awakening. That's all that takes place. Even in the morning, you open your eyes, you're awake. You're driving the car. Your mind goes on to a past memory. You become awake to that memory. It goes on to, oh my God, which route will I take? You're awake to the route. Every thought is an awakening. Every movement, an awakening. Every motion, awakening. Every sensory activity, an awakening. But the awakening never ends. So on the date of death and the last breath, awakening to whatever is destined, if you want to call it destiny. All that God is an awakening. If we go by measurement, and the size of the universe is what the scientists say, and the size of the galaxy is what they say, and the size of the cosmos is what the scientists say, and that there are repetitive galaxies. How big can God be? And how much movement will it take for God to waken up in the morning alone? Providing everything that exists and beyond is within God, is the creation of God. How long will it take to God to wake up just from sleep? Just from another transcending thought? Infinite. No end. All that is taking place is God awakening to see itself in every moment as that singular one thought, that one moment. Because God only wakes up once. From sleep to life. We have repetitive, reflective, minuscule awakenings through thoughts, through breath, through action, through movement. All ripples, tiny ripples. Even the leaves in the trees blowing are tiny ripples of God awakening. And God's consciousness holds it all together. I'm using the word God. You can use source, you can use Brahman, absolute, you can use truth, you can use one moment, you can use anything you like to try and identify with or name this God that is beyond all names. Because even the sound that comes from the voice are billions of rippling awakenings. God is one whole thing. Not male, not female. Within it, the axis of God is that penis with that out with it, that surrounding beautiful, you can call it flesh, you can call it substance of vagina, enshrouding its own and constant birth. One pulse, as U.G. Krishnamurti says, one pulse. That's all, one pulse. That's all that took place, is taking place, and forever will take place. Maybe for God to awaken once, it may come to an end. But you can awaken 1 billion times in 10 seconds within your body. Every cell, every atom, awakening every moment. So maybe God can have a second awakening, which means the mind cannot reach or attain the length of time for God to have billions of awakenings. But we're only interested in this one awakening. And this one awakening God calls I am. I, that subject, that whole existence, that whole towering inferno of still possibilities, limitless, infinite, stretching possibilities, still non-moving. Am consciousness, enshrouded, that like big, soft, beautiful, loving substance. And from it, what to say? What to say, but you can give it names. You can give yourself name. You are the subject, I. You become the object, am. Through the moment I and am meet, your mind appears to make sense of you, the object, and I, the subject. That's your I. So I am is what you are, essentially. That's your whole awakening title, I am. The mind gives you an identity. I am Graham, I am Simon, I am Peter, I am Alice, I am Rebecca. So the three becomes a one. And what happens? I am Graham has a story. And the story awakens on its own. Like the sperm that comes from the penis and ejaculation. Does it have a path, or is it just a coincidence? It bumps into an egg. Are you trying to organize your story, construct your story against the natural laws of God? Or is the natural laws of God so sophisticated, so subtle, that it already knows the story? And you just happen to be a vessel playing out its own story, its own awakening? Whatever. You're privileged to be here. And whatever mind state you want to give yourself, rich, poor, healthy, wealthy, wise, intelligent, successful, failure, happy, sad. That's a story. If you think you can choose a perfect story for yourself, you must go down that route of ego. Ego's okay. Nothing wrong with ego. Nothing wrong with the name. Or you can let it simply pass this life and become the story. That's okay too. But without the knowledge of what God is, and that this is all one whole awakening, and that you are part and will continually for eternity until God decides to go to sleep again for one moment, you will eternally be part of this awakening. In birth and death, in life, same thing. All simple little fluctuations, little simple pulse beats of awakening that is taking place. So the only thing that this speaker is portraying to know is, once you know God, once you know that it is a mystery, a colossal giving birth to itself, and that all that is appearing here are parts, or even particles, or even whole essential conscious moments of that original one moment that exists as you and everywhere, as it is and whatever it is right now, with a story. If you're interested in your own story, that's perfect for God. If you're not interested in becoming an individual and just allowing the whole story to be the same thought, just repeating itself, that's also perfect for God. There's nothing wrong or right with this. Everything is as it is, as it should be. Everything is awakening. You happen to be in a body with a mind that is experiencing your momentary awakening. You're not moving from youth to old age and death. You're awakening to youth, awakening to adulthood, awakening to old age, awakening to death, awakening to what comes next. Everything is awakening. Time, nature, universe, atoms, molecules, viruses, love, happiness, stories, 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 beyond and beyond and beyond. You have no beginning, you have no end. Beginning and end are part of the story, part of your story, if that's how you wrote your novel. If you have a date of birth and you believe that is fact, and you will have a date of death and you believe that is fact, that's your novel. But to God, just a chapter, just a minuscule chapter of your whole true ongoing story.